Hey guys, this is a guide to get you started speedrunning all cells, no restrictions in Ori and the Blind Forest DE. This is a fairly technical category, so to help keep things concise, I'm going to be focusing mainly just on tricks that are specific to this category, and assuming that you're familiar with the speedruns of other categories of this, specifically all skills, no out of bounds. Any tricks that are done in that category, I'm just going to assume you know how to do them. So if that's not you, and you want to get into speedrunning Ori with this category, that's fine, you can still follow along with this guide, but if there's something you don't understand, you might have to refer to the all skills guide to figure out how to do it, or just ask questions on the Discord, and someone will be sure to help you out. So off the top here, we're just going to wall jump. This is basically the same in every category, so this is just background during the introduction basically. I am skipping the 4th health here. That saves a lot of time in all cells as compared to all skills, because you come directly by that cell later during the Glades revisit with cell collection, and you're going to pick up many other health cells fairly early on, so it doesn't really afford you that much safety. It's basically just Blackroot that you have to do with 3 health, so I recommend skipping that health cell. It does give you that full 8 seconds basically. As well, you want to level up on the way out of wall jump if possible. I mess it up in my PB here, which is what we're following along with to get through the run, but that's alright. The experienced route is not nearly as tight in this category as it is in all skills, because we don't have to do Frunky Block, and instead we're going to go through the switchback down past the boulder area to get out of Blackroot. And there's tons of slimes there, so you can just kill extra slimes to make up for any low experiences with that. So we're at wall jump here, nothing fancy going on whatsoever, so I want to take a moment here to talk about binds that you're going to want to set up for this category. There's 4 binds related to Terra clips, which are very useful, and we'll be using, well, most of them later on. The first one is a Microdash. That's dash and jump on the same key. What that does is, if you have air dash, it will move you a very set distance, consistent distance every press, which is good for setting up your Terra clips, rather than like tapping away from a wall and hoping that you didn't tap too far away, for example. So, dash and jump on the same key for a Microdash, then your Terra clips, left and right, that's movement left, dash and proceed on the same key, movement right, dash and proceed on the same key. And finally, a charge dash Terra clip, which is useful in places for getting through walls where there's no good setup for just a regular dash Terra clip, and that's proceed, charge jump, and dash on the same key. So with those 4 binds, you'll be able to do all the Terra clips you want, and there are consistent setups using those for every Terra clip in the run. So as we get into Blackroot here, I want to point out that I grabbed the 15 on the way in. I'm going to be doing Quick Flame Genocide in this category, and I would recommend that you just do this as well, because Quick Flame Genocide for all cells is a lot easier than Magnet Genocide for all skills, because you only have to kill 4 slimes in this route, and all skills has to kill 7, so it's really a lot easier. You don't have to slow down nearly as much to grab experience, and you'll make that 1 cycle faster over getting the 100 orb. Now that said, if you really don't like Genocide, you can just get the 100 orb up above that we're passing by now, and you'll just be 1 cycle slower, but not a big deal if you're not killing any of the slimes and not taking 15 on the way in. Your experience will work out very similarly for the rest of the run from here, so not a big concern one way or the other. Other notes on experience, because I leveled up on the way down to wall jump instead of the way up, I am a little bit low on experience in this video, but that means you just get to see some backups coming up. Also, you want to do the same manipulation here that you do in all skills Genocide, holding down while you're on those platforms to keep these slimes off camera. What that does is it prevents that slime from getting to your left when it's up on the roof, which just protects you from the bad luck of the experience flying out of the slime going left, which means sometimes if you don't have magnet, you won't be able to get it. And that's not catastrophic. Like, you can miss any number of slimes in here below the 4 that you want to get, and it won't be fatal because there's just a whole ton of slimes in the switchback. You can just kill more and more of them to get your experience set up. So as we approach the darkness cutscene here, the experience number that's ideal but incredibly rare to actually get that much, you basically need everything to land on your auto wall jump, is 55 to level, which means you don't need to kill any slimes in the switchback. The most common is 67 or less to level, which means you need to kill one. And in this case, I'm over that. 79 or less to level means I need to kill 2 slimes to set up my next level. So I will be killing 2 slimes here. If you have to kill 3 or more slimes to get to that 55 to level mark, then I would recommend doing the rekindle glitch on this lever, but if it's 1 or 2, then you can just pull it, and that's good enough. So we're going to use the slime explosion to get our 1 slime, we'll just quick flame the next one, and then I'll be able to get under the door here. I held the lever for a bit longer than you would if you're only killing 1 slime, but just to give some time. So coming up here, this is the boulder skip. Now, we're going to out of bounds out of the bottom of Blackroot here. To do this, you don't need to save glitch the boulder or anything. As you can see, you just go straight into it. And then it's consistent to push up against this platform, run into it holding left. Once you're up against it, hold down, and then hold down and right. And holding down and right will have the boulder push you underground. Now you wait for the boulder to get past you, and you don't need to be very aggressive here with how soon you release down and start just holding right to run, because we need to put a save underground, and you can't save until the boulder is finished. So it doesn't matter if you get up like right after the boulder passes or not, it's safe either way. So you just get out there, save, and then once you've saved, jump out, go up and get this health cell. I got super lucky here, and I got an energy drop from this Frankie, which is not reliable, but it saves some time later on. So after you get that health cell, rekindle, take a death on these spikes, and then you're going to do down, right, and dash. And after you've done one of those, you're just going to start holding down and dash, and that'll just get you through. Once you can't dash anymore, hold right, and now we're into Grotto. So, Grotto skip's coming up. This is considerably more difficult, I think, in this category than it is in all skills. Well, I called it Grotto skip, but it's really Grotto cycle. How you want to set it up is either with what I do here, dash, run to this position here, where you can see the start of the dash, and then dash off, or do a glide cancel dash to get yourself into this position. This will let you fall down in this arc and clip this 15 experience. Now, if you didn't do Genocide, you didn't take the 15 experience outside of Blackroot on your way in, you have to avoid this. You can still get the Grotto cycle, you just need to dash from a little bit further to the right to make sure you go over this. Once you clip this 15 experience, you want to briefly let go of right and let yourself fall down. I just messed with the video there, whoops. So that you land not as far right as you could. You kind of want to be into this spot where you can see the dash starting, and that's to set up the Crusher cycles for Grotto cycle as you would in all skills, and then you just go right away. You don't want to wait for like a cycle setup. You in fact can't wait for a cycle setup because they're going to be soon working against you. So let me just wind this back a little bit, and we'll watch the full Grotto skip or Grotto cycle here without doing a whole bunch of pauses. So there's rekindle, take a death on those spikes. Those are down dashes, holding right, one dash, walk into position, dash, grab that, briefly let go, and then just do your Grotto cycle here. And I got it in my PB, so it's pretty sick. Now, the thing is, I did get lucky and get an energy drop from that Frankie, which means I don't need to worry about save anywhere here, but if you don't get an energy drop there, you will be at 1 energy here, which means if you get Grotto cycle and are able to kill the energy crystal in front of the Grotto skip area, then you just have to carry a save anywhere down to the double jump tree to be optimal. Technically, you can also kill the energy crystal and get Grotto cycle, but it's pretty insane, so I basically just we'll carry the save anywhere from the door. And then we're going to continue leveling through Kindle to regroup. Every level up is going to go into the top tree up until we have triple jump, and we'll just have quick flame and then everything going into the top tree from now on. So it's an easy way to keep track of your level ups going out. So this is just a normal movement out of double jump, and I'm just going to speed this up a little bit so we get to the top of grotto skip soon. I had some issues there, but exactly the same as it is in all skills. Now, coming up to this section, this is what the experience setup was for. If you were, at that 55 or less experience to level mark coming out of the switchback in Blackroot, then you will exactly level. Like, being at 55 will cause this to exactly level you, and you want that to happen to set up your energy. One thing to be careful of is if you didn't do genocide, your experience is going to be a little bit higher than mine here. So your timing of grabbing this experience orb, saving to skip this next cutscene is a little bit tighter, but if you did genocide, you're going to be basically 90 to 100 away to level right now. That means you have plenty of time to save and rekindle, and I have enough experience to level up, but the bar is just filling up, so I'll just level up after the reload here, which means I'm back to 3 energy, and I can save glitch the bridge on my way out, which is, you basically just want to save anywhere along the left side of the bridge. The closer to the pillar, the better. That pillar is where the cutscene begins, and then rekindle it as you're running back. Do another reload so you don't get dunked back into grotto. And then you can just put 2 energy into this door and start dashing over as the camera catches up. A little bit of a tricky jump here. If you've played Rando, you've probably done this one. Just catching the double jump on the left wall there, going up, but it's not as hard as grotto skip, so I'm sure you can figure it out just fine. And now we're just going to be heading up and out of grotto. So, as for the experience route, there's not too much reliance on enemy experience from now on. There's backups for every enemy, but you do want to get the same experience orbs that I'm getting there. That 200 by the grotto TP is important. Note that we don't need the grotto TP in this category. We're never going to use it. Technically, there's a warp displacement off of it, which is 3 seconds faster. But god, it's terrible. So, for your own sanity, I recommend you don't take it. I'm grabbing this frog's experience. It doesn't really matter if you miss that, but it's nice to have it because you're going to have to kill some swarms later if you're too low on experience. Now note, if you didn't do genocide, you don't need to worry as much because your experience will be a little bit higher than mine, but, no big deal. So, we grab the swamp teleporter. Note that I don't get the Kuro cutscene cell. We're going to come back that way after we do Ginso, so there's no reason to get it now. And we need the swamp teleporter to warp displace to swamp later on. It's more convenient than the grotto teleporter for that. And also, if you're thinking about messing with the route a little bit and using the grotto TP instead, it's useful to have that rock moved already, because late in the celery visits we're going to use the swamp TP to leave from this area, so it's helpful to have it already open, and that saves a little bit of time on that. So now coming into Ginso, these first couple of rooms are completely normal, so let me just speed this up a little bit. I'm going to take the lower route, doesn't matter, you can take the upper route if you want. Puzzle room's a little bit different. We're going to be going up into the top left here instead of actually doing the puzzle, and then we'll be saving, pushing the block on top of the save, and then rekindling to get out of bounds. The save position is fairly forgiving, so I just charge it up while I'm falling to the ground. Pretty much all you want is to not be touching the left wall, because that means the save will be too far left and you can't rekindle it with the block pushed over top of it. And you want to not be touching the block, because that means the save is too far right and it'll be more difficult to actually get to the ground. So basically, anywhere in the middle that's not touching either side is what you want. So I've got that, so I pull the block over a bit, push the block over a bit, and then a key note here, going back a tad, is you push the block and then let it go before you rekindle. Make sure you're not, holding grab and left when you rekindle. You need to fall. And then when you reload the file, just hold down and that'll push you through the ground fairly consistently. So now we get to enjoy the first mini boss, but we have quick flame, so you know, if you're intense you can 3 cycle him. I'd probably get a 4 cycle here. You almost always get 4 cycles on this guy. You do want his experience, so it can get a little annoying if he spawns in a bad place and you've taken damage, but if you can't get it, there are options to just make it up. So it's not a big deal, like it's not a run ender if you miss the experience, but you do want it. And then as for the health setup here, you just want to be at an odd number of health, either 1 or 3, leaving from the grotto mini boss, which you can set up by, you know, taking damage on the spikes and then saving so that you can get a clean ghost door there. If you're not at that, you might just lose a bit of time here. It's a little bit less convenient than all skills because, you know, you don't have as much energy at this point. We're only at 3 energy cells right now, so you don't have as many saves that correct your health. Okay, so we grabbed Bash. We're gonna grab this experience orb right here. These experience orbs are basically necessary to get charge dash on time and ultra defense on time later. We're fairly, you know, starved for ability cells, even though we're gonna get a whole bunch of ability cells because we are still gonna skip the water and we have to do some long swims, so we need ultra defense sooner rather than later. Of course, I grabbed another 100 in that redirect section. I'm just gonna head through key dupe. Key dupe is a little more forgiving than it is in all skills. We only need 2 keys when we're leaving here instead of 3. So if somehow you only dupe 2, you're perfectly okay. You can just get 4 on the next pass. I'm just going to get 3 on the next pass though. Just remember to go over and grab this energy cell. And of course, because we're already at 5 health, you need to make sure you're taking enough damage boosts to set up your ghost door, because you're going to be coming in here, you know, 1 away or at full health. And you can see even I had enough health to just take 2 damage boosts there to set this up. So skip the 4th keystone. I have 2 left in my inventory, which is all we need for swamp. After that, we're going to get plenty of keystones later, so no worries on that count. We'll just kill the grotto or the top against a mini boss, and more experience is better at this point. Ideally, you would level up here, but you pretty much never do. Like, you'd need so much experience to fall on you without magnet to get it, so you're normally just a little bit off of level. If you didn't do genocide, you'll probably level here, but we'll just kill a swarm in the swamp to make up for it later. So coming up here, we're teleporting to Glades because we're going to do a warp displacement to swamp. And I guess it's a good time to explain how warp displacement works, because that's not a trick that exists in all skills. So I'm setting up a menu storage. You can do this either off the pause menu with your save anywhere, you know, technique. You get a dialogue up and then you dismiss it with cancel and proceed at the same time. Or you can, you know, open a save on the Glades teleporter and start it there. It's a little bit faster to do it here because you don't have to wait. And then I'm just gonna start a teleport, wait a little bit for my Ori to fall to the ground so that you're able to save on the teleport, and then you just hit proceed to confirm your teleport as well as save on the spirit well. I actually might have spirit flame on that bind as well. So, oh yeah, I do. I have spirit flame and proceed on this bind. So you might need both of those. I'm not actually sure, but let me just back it up so you can see this full sequence actually done, you know, with the timing of letting yourself fall to the ground off the bash. But right now we're teleporting to Glades. Set up a menu storage. Teleport to Glades. Start the teleport. Hit the ground. And we're teleporting to swamp, and then once the save animation finishes, we've broken out of the cutscene, and then we're just going to stand on the left side of that platform and it'll teleport us there. You can save there or not. It loses a little bit of time to save there, but if you fail swamp entry, then you have to, taking a death puts you on the swamp teleporter, which is catastrophic. So I like to put that save for, you know, for now. It doesn't matter if you get the cell on the way in or the way out, just like all skills, so it's kind of whatever. You can do your swamp entry method of choice. I'm hyperspeeding this door, I hope. Yeah, I did get it. Nice. So we're heading up to the stomp tree. Nothing much going on here. Let's just speed up a little bit. Now we're getting stomp. At this point, I still have 5 HP. You don't need to do this next double bash I'm going to do, but I like to do it because it makes the fish double bash up to the energy cell more forgiving if you're at full health instead of healing up to just 4 health. And it's actually the same speed as taking the damage boost. So here, ideally you want to stomp into the water. I kind of slipped up, so I'm going to take some extra damage. But we're just going to double bash this fish up to the top energy cell here. Not really going to go into backups for this in this video. I'm just going to assume that you're set up with a free double bashing or fairly free double bashing technique. And you're going to get up that way. There are alternatives you can avoid that, but I haven't really experimented with them much. So we're just going to head out of swamp here. Here, okay, there's something worth noting. If you failed the warp displacement, which can happen, like if you flub the movement, whatever, going into swamp, and you warp displace too low, and you don't get the ability cell, at this point, like, just don't bother resetting over that or anything like that. Just take Ringo over and get it like you would in all skills, and then continue through the swamp at this point. But I got it okay in my video, so no worries. I actually want to go back to that really quickly. Let me find that part of the video. I want to make a note about this. So you don't want to be on the very far left edge of this platform. You want to be just on the left half of it, kind of like in the middle. The further left you go, the lower you warp displace. And like if you're hanging off the left edge, you will warp displace down below the cell. But because I'm kind of in the middle of it, I'm up above the cell, which is what you want. So that'll just, you know, make that more consistent for you. So let's go back to where we were. Alright, so save glitch this cutscene. And then on here's the swarm we want to level on. Ideally you level on the way up, which I do here. If you level on the way down, you can kill the mortar worms, which can cause you a little bit of trouble. Also want to point out a little bit of movement. We don't want to go too much into this video, but spirit flaming that so that you can bash off the spawn of it in midair lets you get up to that cell faster than doing actual wall jumping up to it. So here you can just go around the edges, but just, you know, double bashing this shot up all the way is a bit faster. Or you could just bait it and single bash up once to skip going around that left side, which saves you a little bit of time. Now we're just heading back over Ginso. Once again, double bash, just to save a little bit of time. You don't need to do that one. You just want to go over that tree. You don't have to worry about Kuro cutscene skipping this category. Woohoo! Because just go over there. You never go through that area down below. And you want to stomp that peg, but we're not going to actually go in there yet. And well, yeah, we'll be getting that on the cell loop. We don't have enough health to get that cell anyways right now. Going up here to grab this health cell is pretty necessary for the swim stuff later on. You can make your own decision about how much health you want to take, but I would obviously just recommend to take the amount that I take. As well, grabbing this energy cell now. It's technically optional. You can get it during the revisit instead, but you're not significantly faster to that area than you are now. And there's a fairly energy-starved section from Charge Jump to Forlorn, so I like to have that energy cell a bit earlier. So this is all kind of the same stuff as all skills, except for the fact that we're going to get Charge Dash right at this Spirit Tree cutscene instead of, you know, at Feather. So we'll have Charge Dash through Valley Entry. But there's nothing fancy going on here, so let's just speed things up a little bit. Just kind of getting everything through Valley Entry. And get some fancy strats. It's whatever. One thing to note is you really don't want to miss fast stompless, because it's not like you can just go get a backup cell. It's all cells, so you need the cell. You have to come back and get it, so hopefully you hit that, or, you know, if fast stompless isn't really your thing, then just, I don't know, get the cell and then go up and stomp the rocks. It's whatever. Remember to get the Valley TP, you need that. It's really tragic when you don't, because you have to come there later. Now I'm going on to Sorobash. You have a lot of energy in this section, like a crazy amount of energy, so we're like dumping it on multiple rocket jumps to just get up to Sorobash. There's even one, you know, fairly trivial. This is the rocket hop up to this lever. It just saves a tiny amount of time, but we have tons of energy, so might as well do it. Also, you could save if you wanted to be safe, but you know, what fun is that? Okay, so coming through this section, speed up a bit. This is just movement, and I'm not going to focus too much on like little bits of movement in this video. I grabbed all 4 keystones there. You don't need to. You only need like 4 keystones out of all the ones in Soro. I guess technically this is not an all skills trick anymore, or hasn't been for a long time going through this laser section, so let's take a look at this. You have so much energy here. This save is super high value because it's really easy to die to this laser if you don't make the save. If you do make the save, the laser will never kill you. So here, I just like charge dash and then jump out of it, and you'll get across. You can also do it with an air dash and jump, but the charge dash just makes it easier. And you have tons of energy. Like, you just picked up an energy cell, and we're gonna be at charge jump fairly soon. So you know, you can be pretty spammy with those. You can even charge dash a bit through the spike cave up top. Preference there, whether you stomp the floor once or not on your way in. I like to do it, but it doesn't really matter one way or the other. You can stomp it twice on the way down, you can stomp it just once on the way down. And then we're at charge jump, so movement skills are basically complete. Grenade is sort of a movement skill, but we're never getting climb in this run, so you can't actually grenade jump with it. You can only bash grenade, which is of limited use. So you're gonna go up above charge jump here, grab one ability cell. And yeah, let's just speed up through Soro, because this is just movement for a little bit here, and not much to say about that. Right now I have 7 health. I accidentally took damage in my PB there. Oh, what the heck? Let's rewind, and I'll tell you something about stomping this floor. And one of the reasons that stomping it once is nice on the way up. If you're to the right of, you know, the edge of this lower platform, oops, accidentally full screened again, then holding a stomp will just make you go straight through and not have to slow down, which is just nice. There I did a quick backflip glide, backflip and air dash to get your 20 speed glide. It's just a convenient way to move through that section. But you know, I said I wasn't going to focus too much on it. There's nothing else to talk about here. Let's just speed up, get into Misty. One thing to note about this segment, from charge jump to forlorn, energy is pretty tight. Ideally, you have at least 1 energy when you enter forlorn. If you have less than that, well, I mean, it's manageable as long as you get to forlorn with some energy. But it's not great. So you want to be at 1 or 2, pretty much. Now here's oh, I messed the skip up. Okay. So you will probably have to refer to somebody else's PB for the fast way to do this, but this is a backup real quick. So the idea here is that you avoid the look at Atsu's torch cutscene entirely, and charge jump up above it, get to the wall, do a wall jump off of it, and then use your charge dash Terra clip bind while you're just off the wall, and then go all the way back to the left without touching the ground and kill yourself on spikes. But I messed it up. I had to watch the cutscene. So your backup is get up against the wall, do a micro dash, crouch and turn back to the right so that you don't move, and then use your charge dash bind, and then I'm just gonna dash over and die. So this is just a backup strategy on this part, but you can see in other people's PB is probably the correct way to do this. And then you're through. You can. Let me get to that part. Alright, good enough. You can, right after you die here, immediately stomp to fall through the tree. But I don't like doing that a ton myself, because if you do it, if you press down like just before you spawn, then you won't go through, which is painful. So as for getting the Forlorn here, it's not that hard. You just dash glide off the edge and then just wait until Ori comes towards the middle of the screen, and then hold feather and right to avoid getting stuck on the wall. Now we're on laser cycles here. I had 2 energy going in, which means I can save first. If you're on 1 energy going in, then ideally you just don't save, but I understand Forlorn can be a little spooky, so you might want to save and then go down and get the energy, or save and then not use charge dashes or something like that. But grab that health cell, grab that energy, and then we're just on our way out. You can do the lasers a bit faster than I did. I kind of messed up there. I meant to do a charge dash and a dash, but didn't get it. Okay, so here's coming up another Terra clip. So the setup for this one is you get your save anywhere. I'm up against the wall here, pushed up to the left. 1 microdash, then crouch, turn to the left, and then we're going to charge jump straight up to max height. Fall just a little bit below it. At max height it doesn't quite work. You just want to be a bit below max height, and then use your charge dash proceed bind to get through the wall. Keep the save anywhere. We're going to go back down and die to these lasers just anywhere in that room. And then as you're kind of hitting the edge of the screen here before you void out, you want to level up triple jump. And this will keep you, out of bounds and not have to like redo your death from Terra Club or whatever. Now we're getting out of this Forlorn area. I got out of there really nicely because I didn't get caught in any of the walls above the spider or anything like that. But even if you get stuck just above the spider, which can happen sometimes, you can just jump up the wall and like get out that way, so no big deal. And then we're just going straight to the teleporter. We'll head back to Glades. I'm doing a teleport anywhere here, same as we did for the warp displacement of the swamp, but I'm not going to warp displace. I'm just using it to get my energy back so that I can charge dash through this section. So we're heading to Grenade, but there's no laser cycles to worry about. I'm just wasting a bunch of energy because you get a ton when you do that save there. I'm just going to do some canceled charge dashes. Here, another Terra clip. I'll just wind it back so you can see the full setup. This one, the setup for this one is get up against the wall, push up to the left, microdash, and then this is a dash and left Terra clip. So whatever key you have that bind on is what you want to press. And you don't need to turn around for this one because the left is part of the bind. So microdash, dash left. Other thing to note about this one and about the Terra clips that are not the charge dash clips, the dash left, dash right ones, is you need to be somewhere on the ability menu that will move to an ability that you want to level. So conveniently for this one, being on the experience orb and pressing left will move you to magnet. So you just stay on the experience orb, press left, level up magnet. Then I'm just gonna walk along those spikes a little bit to take damage on the way out. And then soon after you respawn, you want to stomp. You don't want to go out to the left side because you will void out and be sad. So we're just going to stomp down to Light Grenade and pick that up. So that's the last skill we're going to get, and now we are on Cell Collection. So going through Blackroot here, I don't think there's really too much to explain. We're going to leave through the bottom of this room because we don't want to deal with the intro to Light Grenade cutscene or whatever you want to call it up at the top. And this is just movement for a little bit. There aren't any tricks for a little while, so let's just speed up a tad as we go through this. I like to make sure that I see that laser there. The order here matters. I'm going to do left first because we're going to clip from the right side. I also don't want to kill too many enemies at this point. You want to keep your experience a little bit lower, so just the ones that I killed there is basically the limit. Okay, another Terra clip. I'll wind it back a bit so we get through the full setup for it. Also, you don't have to take this damage boost, it's a little bit faster, but it can be more comfortable to be at more health going into this swim coming up, but I'm fine 1 health down, so I just do the damage boost. Okay, so this Terra clip setup is the exact same as the one going to Grenade just before. It's get up against the wall, microdash once, and then use your dash and left bind. Only difference is you want your cursor to be over triple jump instead of, the start, because we're getting ultra defense on this clip. And you have to go pretty far away to actually die to this, so we're gonna head back out and rocket jump up, die. Now on spawn here, you need to hold left to make this clip work. I imagine you've already figured this out at this point because you had to do it for all the other clips. You want to be holding the direction that you want to go to when you respawn. But you want to hold left, and then really quickly after you fall down just a little bit, you want to dash to the right and feather. You can also stomp immediately, but I don't like that too much myself. Now here, this movement's intentional. You can light the lantern right away, but by falling to the ground next to the Frankie first, you buffer the load of lower Blackroot, which actually saves quite a lot of time because that area takes forever to load on basically everybody's computer. So fall down first, then jump back up and light the lantern, and then you won't have to wait here. Now, here's the swim. You could save before it, but I'm crazy, so I'm not going to. You don't actually need to double bash this, but you will need to save and then die and then save again if you don't double bash to get enough health. But by double bashing a lot, you can save how much damage you take, and you don't actually need a suicide on your way out. There's an alternative here where you Terra clip in, but I'm not a big fan of doing that myself, so I didn't go through how to do it here. And I get so low there because I didn't double bash a fish all the way out. And this section in my PB proceeds to get extremely spooky. This is the main problem I did here. You're supposed to charge a dash over and stomp, and then you'll magnet in that energy. But I was like, oh, I'll just get it after, and then I left it behind, so yikes. Now, here, another Terra clip setup. This one is done with a microdash, crouch and turn to the right so you don't move, and then hit your proceed, charge jump, dash bind, the charge dash. This gets through this wall. And because it doesn't have a direction, we just keep our cursor directly over the purple tree. We're just going to be going up purple tree for the rest of this. Weaken myself a bit, then die to the water. Now this part is like, in my PB, this is really not how you want to do this. You want to have energy where I am right now so that you can save here. Because it's possible that on this next charge jump you just void out based on the global void timer, because there's a little void zone in between here and Grotto. I just had to go for it because I messed up and I was just like, I can't afford to slow down, so I just charged about and I got lucky. But ideally you save there and then also do a save anywhere and just level up to Ultra Magnet during that charge jump up to Grotto. Because then even if you do void out, you'll just be, moving upwards and into Grotto, and then like you won't lose any time there. Plus you want Ultra Magnet at this point anyways. But I just placed a save there so I can get Ultra Magnet now. And now we're on to the Grotto revisit. So this is just movement for a little bit. So let's just speed it up because there's, really for the movement in this, you're gonna have to study people's PBs in detail and maybe take a look at the practice one and stuff like that. So I don't care too much about that kind of thing. For our purposes here, you just want to learn how to run the category. So moving through upper part of Grotto here, getting the last couple cells, and we're coming up on Butterclip. Oh, I did save before this here. What do you know? You only have 2 chances at Butterclip before the thing you're bashing off of dies, and then you can't do it anymore. And that would be really tragic. You'd have to go all the way around through and do curve cutscene skip and stuff like that. So we don't want to deal with that. You just want to bash basically 10 degrees off of straight up is what I do. I think more straight up or even further to the left works. This is a fairly forgiving angle. I normally don't even save before this, so it's not that hard to get, but you know, just get through and then grab the cell. Okay, so here, we didn't break this floor earlier, but by just jumping out of the water and air dashing to the right, you'll just land on this micro ledge and you can just charge jump it. So this section, I want to note, from the moment the slime that's dying right now dies, you have, I think it's exactly a minute. It's either a minute or a bit over a minute that its respawn timer is. And that will change how you rocket jump out of here at the end. So if you're confused about that when you're practicing this section, that's what it is. The slime is still dead if you're, less than a minute going through Grove and back, and it'll be alive if not. So you can kind of base what you rocket jump off of at the end on that. So moving through here. Now this is a huge tragedy in my PB. I should not have charge dashed this swarm because my experience was too high. So I leveled up and got an energy cell at the same time. Ideally what you would do going to the left here is just spam charge dash, because you would get the energy cell and you'd almost have leveled. And I had to save my energy because I wasn't going to get a refill. But ideally, you get full energy on the energy cell, then you spam charge dash, and all the spider experience is following you because you have ultra magnet, and you get full energy from that. But it is what it is. So just grabbing some Grove cells, and oh yeah, there is one other thing I wanted to note. I said I wouldn't focus too much on movement here, but this one is kind of important. It's way faster to rocket jump off of the spider that's on the screen here instead of climbing the walls like I did in my PB. But I did this as a backup because I wasn't able to charge dash through like I normally am. My position might be off, and the spikes down here one-shot you, so if you miss the rocket jump, you just die. So I think it's worth practicing, like getting into the position and doing that rocket jump, and normally that's what you'd want to do, but it's not a bad backup to just go back to safe movement and just kind of wall jump, charge jump your way up there, which is what I did here. So let's zoom ahead a bit because we already saw this section. Sorry for the high-pitched noises. But now I'm going to head back, having to deal with the fact that those spiders are alive, kind of annoying. Still fast enough to not have been dropping slime alive though, so I can just charge jump all the way up the horror fields, and now getting the horror fields cells. As for tricks here, I don't do any. There is one that you can do during the rock dropping cutscene that's coming up. You can do a save anywhere to skip it, and then not have to deal with the fact that you can get pushed out of bounds by this rock and soft lock. The smart thing to do is at least save before this. Apparently I did none of those, but whatever, I didn't fall down and I didn't get pushed out of bounds by the rock, so it's fine. So we're just grabbing cells, more speed up, I suppose. And then we're gonna head out of here. Just go back to normal speed, I suppose, because we're coming up on another trick. So just leaving through here, and we're gonna head back towards the swamp TP. Now, we already got the cell up top, but of course you want to go over there because the crow cutscene is still active. We'll rocket jump up to this ability cell. If you kill everything or run out of energy and can't rocket jump, you can just charge jump up to that one. Now we're going to TP back to Glades. And you have some options here. You could just TP straight to Valley, because we're going to get the fax cell right now. I'm going to warp displace there. This is my preferred method of doing it. This is basically the same as Terra breaking and a bit faster than Terra clipping, but I just prefer it. So it's the same as the warp displacement to go to Swamp, except you're going to stand on the right side of the platform instead of the left. That's all there is to it. And then one charge dash over, You kind of fall right on it, and then you can charge jump your way out. If you didn't do this warp displacement, if you wanted to teleport straight to Valley instead, then you can Terra clip to this from beside the petrified plant in Main Valley, but that one's kind of weak. It's a bit slower than doing this warp displacement. You can Terra break it as well, or you can do the micro ledge charge jump. Technically speaking, the micro ledge charge jump is the fastest of all these methods, but only if you get it on the first or second try. And I don't like it because it's just an annoying trick to have to do really late into a run, so I don't do it myself, but you can take your choice of how you get here. Anyways, moving on through more Valley shenanigans. We'll speed up a tad. Throw the grenade, get the cell. Now we're heading back up to Valley entry, getting the annoying long swim cell. Spamming bash during that cutscene, you can get yourself to fall into the water a bit, which just saves you a little bit of time swimming. You have a million health. Like, you have way more health than you need for this section, but I still, because it's difficult to dump all your energy, as you can see, I still have 7 energy in the tank, and I'm about to pick up an energy cell. It's important to save through Valley if you take any damage, just to make the swim a little bit easier. And I like to make a point of saving once at that cell, just because, if you are damaged, then you can get pretty low here. So now we're on to the Glades revisit. I don't think there's too much in the way of tricks, but I'll just let it play through. It doesn't take too long. And I suppose I probably want to talk about laser skip a bit. You also don't want to miss your stomps like I did there. You also don't want to charge dash at the top of the guy there, because that just yeah, we said we weren't going to focus on movement in this video. It's a good thing, because this is not how you want to do glades. The important thing to keep in mind with how you use your uncancelled charge dashes, rock jumps, and whatever in this section, is you don't want to run out of energy to do the door by Glazer, because we're going to come up on that now. And it is really rough. Or it's annoying, I guess, to be too low on energy to open that. If you are, though, just get the Glazer energy cell and then come open it. That's your best alternative. So we don't need the rock for this. I like to always throw a save there, because saves only cost half an energy at this time, and you throw one grenade during this segment, so you will have kind of just that half energy floating around. So just make a save so that you don't die. And then head over through Glades, pick all this stuff up. Not much going on, we're just getting the cells. And then we're going to go down to the Glades TP. We have every cell except for the one cell in Horu at this point, so we're going to teleport back to Ginso. And now the tricks, the Terra Clip madness starts to really ramp up right now. I'm going to charge dash over this. This is definitely not how you want to go through this room, but you want to charge dash over that main room there so you don't get the cutscene. Okay, so this Terra Clip, it's the same setup as the ones going down through Blackroot. Microdash left, or microdash once after you're pushed up left against the wall, and then get your save down and do a dash left proceed bind. So you can get, either further in the purple tree or the red tree. It doesn't really matter here at this point which abilities you're getting. So you want to do that. You're going to keep your save anywhere up, and then charge dash over to this right room, trying to skip the cutscene in the main room again, of course, and right after you go through, you want to stomp before you go off screen. If you go off screen, you're going to void, and then you're probably going to have to redo your death. So after you stomp, count 1, 2, 3, 4, roughly, and then start doing. This is a bunch of charge dash proceeds just to get into the right spawn Horu. So it's like 4 to 5 seconds of stomping down that you want. And there are like a lot of failure states for getting in there. Let me just pause for a bit. Head back to when we just got in bounds, because there's a pretty large window of where you can end up. I think I even let me go back and see how many saves did I use when I was doing this. Because you can do it in 2 if it's ideal. I think I might have used 4 here. You have lots of extra ones, like depending on the quality of your saves. Yeah, I used 4, and you can do it in 2. So, you know, that's just a matter of you can rush it, because you have so many extra saves at this point, it doesn't really matter. So where I came in here is pretty much ideal. Like right next to the energy cell is what you want. If you counted too quickly, you know, went too soon on your charge dashes and went above this, you'll need maybe an extra save to get in, and you'll end up in the top of R1 and have to backtrack down to the bottom here, which is kind of annoying. If you go a little bit lower, you can still get in, but you can get into some ugly situations where, like, the look at this rock cutscene, which is playing right now, you know, input lock you, and that can be rough. So if you are in that state and like falling out of bounds or falling into the lava or something like that, you can try spamming charge dash as you get onto the screen, and that can push you a little bit farther in and get you onto a part of the platform that you actually want. Also, if you go even lower than that and you end up in the top of R3, which is just below this, then I'm sorry. But I guess for your first few runs, you probably want to back up the save back in Ginso. So let me just go back to Ginso. We'll just watch through this section without so much commentary. It's all pausing everywhere. So that's the Terra clip facing left. Or, you know, left to dash proceed. And then 4 to 5 second stomp. And you just do a whole bunch of charge dashes with saves in between. Get that last cell, and then going up to your R1. Not the most inspiring R1 movement here, but you want to get low because we're going to Terra clip out the top of R1 here. And this one has a little bit of a different setup. So we're going to get onto this top branch, and then you're going to Microdash once. You're going to hold down and Microdash again, which will pull you back towards the wall, but not all the way. And then you're going to save and do a left dash proceed Terra clip. So left Terra clip with a regular dash. And that will get you through the wall. So just once more. Remember, it's 2 microdashes for this one. Hold down for the second one and get through. 1, 2, left Terra clip. Go out the door, die to the right here, and then you need to stomp soon after your spawn. On that first one there, where I didn't go through, I pressed down too early, and you just have to go out and die again in that case. If you stomp too late, you'll go out of bounds is what will happen. And sometimes you can consistently, like, just keep holding left and continue voiding without having to redo your death a lot of the time. Sometimes you'll get stuck and have to redo the death, but basically it's just a timing thing. Respawn and then stomp soon after, so you stay out. And now we're going to jump up to this top branch. Be careful, you know, while you're doing that jump, not to like catch the edge of the branch that I'm standing on right now, because a neutral jump off of that will push you out of bounds. You'll, I'm sure, experience this in your practice. And we're going to save again, start another save anywhere. Charge jump, and then save during our charge jump, so that you don't void out. And then I'm just going to do fish strats the last bit of the final escape here. Not a big deal if you missed that or whatever. And I've kept the save anywhere so that we can skip part of the ending cutscene by saving. Let me wind this back and just kind of play it a little bit slower. So you want to save as Ori gets towards the bottom of the screen here, and then quickly exit out of the menu and reload. You have a fairly small window to get this full skip, so I'll pause on the moment that you can actually get the full skip. The earliest save is when Ori... Oh, I missed it. Alright, Slow motion, slow motion. It's when Ori passes there's a branch kind of in the background. I think it's about here, or just slightly before here. But get the save and quickly reload before the dialogue for the last section comes up. If you do reload too late and you have to watch the black screen dialogue section, it's still faster to reload again after that and not watch the part where sign floats to the right and it's like, oh man, we gotta go to the spirit tree. So that's it. That's all cells. I hope this semi-coherent guide was of use, and best of luck with this delightful category.